Hello, everyone. How's it going? Everyone's quiet.
How you feeling, Johnny?
Oh, starting to feel better. Just got the little bit left over of it.
I was starting to wonder if you actually retired from chat or if you were just feeling good.
Well, I semi-retired. Was busy and then not feeling well. I just didn't have the energy.
Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, or middle of the night for poor.
So, does anyone have any questions before
I mean, probably in regards to Terra chain, right?
Yeah, our mods get bombarded with lots of questions in the chat, and that's why I said a few days ago I'd have a VC because they're not all equipped with all the technical knowledge, so it's just better to get it dealt with.
Right. So, from what I understood, is that we're not going to go wrapped, but we're going to basically just introduce a new contract of an entirely new token and kind of burning it off on the BSC chain and introducing it on the Terra Classic chain. Is that correct?
Not entirely. It is a new contract. It is its own token. So Wrapped are their own token on those chains as well. It's just Wrapped has a mint burn function, and it would require redeployment of our BSC side to also include a mint and burn. And it the way Wrapped works is it uses a centralized liquidity pool. The way these bridges are set up, the ones that work, which is basically only a wormhole, is you cannot have tokenomics. Um, you can make just a regular token factory. There's no taxes, there's no nothing. So that really didn't suit us. It didn't even work for us. That'd be more for a layer one blockchain. So was the only option of using a bridge that's currently available. Everything else is broken. All the modules are shut down, and until that's all repaired, we can't do a bridge, like a proper DEX bridge to Terra. Uh, so we're gonna launch standalone tokens, which there's a lot of projects that have it like that, and then you usually use a bridge as well. But how it is each token has its supply and a fixed supply, no minting function in there. You can have deflationary as well, but there's no inside the contract itself, there's no minting. And then they have their own liquidity on that chain. And then you can still swap interchain. But like I said with Terra, the bridging modules, there is nothing to use for that right now because of all the chain upgrades needed and so on. So we can still do it a different way where you send it your Terra tokens or your BSC tokens or your ETH tokens to LBank, and then you withdraw it to whichever chain you want.
Yeah, but doesn't that require the other tokens which are well, let's say, right, you transfer to LBank from Terra Station, right? And then later on later on you withdraw to BSC station, doesn't that mean that the BSC supply increases and the Terra supply decreases?
No, they're fixed. They can't increase. It's physically impossible
Yeah,
to
okay, but I
increase.
mean, there will be less tokens available on the Terra station and more on BSC. That's what I mean.
Less circulating supply.
Yeah,
Okay, that's how that can change. It could fluctuate it in a weird way. If everyone from Terra and ETH all wanted to pull their tokens into BSC, it would put zero circulating supply on there and inflate our circulating supply to the maximum amount of tokens available, which is 87 billion. You can't go higher than that on BSC. What that does is it inflates the price too. All that kind of stuff does, it drives demand. Prices only increase on demand. So when you do that, it has an effect on the chart. It's not just shuffling tokens and it devalues the price, because the how like Luna, for example, like the original Luna, it was a layer one chain or a token. If you bridged to Luna, it minted tokens there. If you took them off and sent them to Wormhole to BSC, it burnt tokens there, never really decreasing the supply or increasing it, mint and burned as needed. That's the difference. Um, we cannot do that. We're not a layer one chain token set up that way, and our BSC contract isn't set up to for the mint burn. And there is no bridge that works with tokenomicized tokens. So because we have a tax structure and all that, we can't do that. So it's the LBank swapping to different chains doesn't is basically a benefit for holders to be able to use whatever utility or prefer whatever chain they prefer. Um, there when the metaverse comes out and it's based on the Terra ecosystem, guys with more BSC tokens than Terra tokens, they might want to send some over there so they can use it in the metaverse. Uh, each chain will have utilities, but if you don't have a standalone token with liquidity on those chains, you can't use the utilities. So that's why each chain gets its own
right.
tokens and supply. Plus, each chain will
That,
be sharing.
but that basically means that already 4 or 5 months ago we could have known that we cannot wrap it, but
Well,
still it was like market, marketing was made that it will be wrapped Luna T, right? But there was no minting function on BSC, so it was technically
but
not
we
even.
could have still do it if once the chain is upgraded and that we can bridge. It's the problem was with bridging.
Okay.
Um, we don't have to have mint and burn on our BSC contract to make it work. That's what we were going around that. It's just we would have been adding, we would have had to purchase tokens from our BSC chain, send them away, lock them in a vault that's held by the bridge, and then those amount of tokens get put on each of the other chain, and it works that way. There's too much problems with the chain, and until they upgrade the core, and then after the core is upgraded, redo the modules, other base modules in there and functions, like a lot of the stuff is turned off, and they did that themselves. The whoever took over the chain after Duquan left started shutting things off and disabling this and that to patch it because it's running on an old Cosmos and it needs upgrading. So we either just delay it inevitably, like who knows, it could take them a year to fix everything, it could take them 3 months. We don't know. And because we're not in control of that, we've just kind of said, well, this is what we can do now, and this gets us going. It still is for our benefit for the project because we have things we want to do on the Terra chain, but without our we can't do them. So it's better for us to get started and get going.
Do you feel like they're making any progress towards that? Like, how do you feel about it? Is it just dead? Is it just dying? Is it something they're just working on?
They're finally making progress. Like, in or I should say the last 3 months of 2022, it was just a shitstorm over on that end. Like, constant drama, everyone fighting, nobody actually doing anything. And then they come out with Terra Rebels came out with Terra Station, which was a waste of money, and that was it. Nothing else. No real fixes on the layer one side. But now with this layer one team, they are like, if you there's a roadmap posted there, and constant updates on where they're at with their repairs, and they're proceeding quite on track. Like, within the first 3 have the layer one done, but these extra things like the whole bridging and that's not a priority to them, because all it does in their mind is takes liquidity away from their chain. So they want their chain fixed first, and more utility coming to the chain, and then they're going to work on all these other things. So I don't know when a proper bridging solution will be. We could build one ourselves or even contract part of it out. The cost is crazy, and it's also a full-time job to manage it with 24-hour around the clock, because bridge security is a big deal. There's always malicious people trying to attack bridges because they can drain liquidity from the chains, and it's just not worth our to do that. And plus, it would cost just too much money for what its benefit is. So nobody will be stuck on one chain. We in the short term, you'll be able to use exchange to swap over. It's not going to dilute the value of the current token. It doesn't. That's not what it does. Uh, each one will have their own liquidity, and before we open up swapping from chain to chain, we will let them naturally trade for a week or 2 weeks, however it takes up to that time, to balance out the market caps, and we'll adjust as necessary, and then open up the interchain, and then it will be going. You'll need to go on Terra if you want to use the metaverse stuff. That is going to be Exodus has said they're building it on the Terra chain, so no matter what, you'll need to be on there. BSC right now has staking. Everyone's heard the lotto's coming out too. That we have a suite of utilities we're in discussion with for our future roadmap, building an ecosystem around that, and that'll be mainly for the EVM chain for now, which is ETH or BSC, and eventually, once the Terra chains migrate or updated, we can migrate the utilities onto there as well. So I think everyone's worried that their value of their tokens are going to drop because of this, and that's not what's going to happen. We can dictate what the price of the token will be on new chains. We just supply the liquidity.
Yeah, but for example, right, you have those. You're gonna have a contract and a Terra contract, right? Will those, for example, be added on CoinMarketCap on the same profile, so that kind of all the chains are there in the like included in the volume?
I am not sure how CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko are going to deal with that, because they are standalone. They're not a shared supply of a layer one. They are actually a layer two, and any layer two projects I see that have on different chains, CoinMarketCap lists them under different. All the info is the same, but it's a separate another listing, which does benefit us too. More listings on there is each chain gives you a new listing. It's new eyes, new marketing. But that I'll have to find out from them how they do it with layer two, because there's like Feg token's been around for I don't know 2 years or so. It's listed separately. Each of their BSC, their ETH, it just is that way. Uh, layer one, like Luna, but even Luna is not, Luna Classic isn't listed just under Luna Classic. Uh, it's there's one listing on Luna Classic, there's one listing on Wormhole. It's it's just up to them how they deal with that.
And the utility which is on BSC now will be also immediately available on ETH, or
Yeah, we're not launching ETH or Terra. Well, Terra has less utility for now. Well, it has actually the biggest utility, the metaverse, but the metaverse isn't done. Um, ETH will have, like when we launched BSC, there was no utility, right? It's a new coin, new project, and we're building it. And when we launch on ETH, we're launching it with staking right away because people like that. The lotto will be working on ETH as well. Like it's it's just a different chain, but EVM chains kind of, the apps and stuff like that work together. It's just a redeployment of the staking contract and the lotto contract on ETH versus BSC. So it's not a very difficult process. And there's some, there was one other thing yet, but that I don't think that's actually been announced. But anyways, yes, the utilities will
is
be
that
on ETH right
maybe
away.
the PSA?
What was that?
Yeah, I mean we're waiting for the PSA, and you said there's something not announced yet.
Oh, see, I don't even know what 17's talking about. I've been
Ah,
half I've been
everybody
half
knows
in
inside
and
the
out. I haven't kept up with the chat. No,
uh,
we have other things. I know that, and we are actually working on a whole suite of utilities for a complete entire ecosystem for Lunatics. But those we have not set in stone and time frames, and that will be added to our new website roadmap. But that will be later on yet. But we will launch with all the utilities we have plus some, and it's because some people prefer different chains. Like I like BSC because BSC is cheap gas fees. But there's Ethereum users that refuse to buy anything on BSC. They don't care about the gas fees. They just don't. They just deal with ETH. That's it.
yeah, but it also has the advantages that gas fees are higher. You know, people are not so eager to sell off quickly. You know, they just
Yeah,
they need to hold
like
longer.
you'll notice on Ethereum you'll have less small buys
Yep.
and less buys in total, but you'll have more volume, like bigger numbers. Because if they're gonna buy a couple $100 versus $10.
Yeah, of course. That's what Ethereum is all about, and there's all the old school whales, right?
Yeah, and we actually have connections with a lot of old timers in the industry, and the ETH side will do well. I know it will do well. There's a lot of people anticipating that, and we've been working with marketing and everything else. So it's not just like we randomly pulled out of our hat, we're going to go on ETH. It's been on our roadmap for a long time. It was just going to be the last one and Terra first, but because of, even just to throw the token on Terra and work with it crippled is just, in my mind, it was a waste of money and time if we can't utilize it the way we need to. So that's why we were going to go with ETH first. And then when that layer 1 upgrade is done within the 3 months of this year, so by March for sure be on Terra side. I mean, we might be earlier if things speed up and the migration isn't too big a deal. But if we do now, it's a complete migration when they upgrade the chain. Like no matter what we do now, if we launch on there, we have no choice but halt our token, figure out the airdrop and migrate over to a new contract after they repair the chain. So that doesn't seem really a good idea to me.
What is the time frame like for ETH and Terra?
Terra, I don't have no time frame because we're waiting to hear back from the layer 1 devs on Terra exactly their time frame and what modules we need to upgrade in our contract for when the update is released. East side is technically on the technical side done. It's more so working on there's 1 or 2 utility items that we're working with yet, and when we decide to market it and put it out.
Yeah, it's important to market that one ETH because especially if it's a new charge, right? People love that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
brings like it won't be bridged right away. It's not a good idea to do because it's just how it is. I mean, people would just drain the liquidity off the BSC side then. So you let it trade a week or 2 or however long it takes to kind of level out, get rid of those first day pump and dumpers, and then have it bridged.
Yeah, I mean, but pump and dump is good as well. If it's about
Yeah,
tech.
but the volatility in the beginning, you just let it
Yeah, it's
happen.
crazy. That's true. That's true. It jumps up for 300% and later it jumps down for 400%, right?
Yeah, but the contract will be deflationary as well on all chains. So if let's say like the previous way with a wrapped contract, the only volume that would cause our token to be deflationary would be the BSC because wrapped mint and burn function, it doesn't matter if you burn it, it doesn't decrease nothing. It just mints more. So now these are fixed and they will all start off roughly with the same quantity. And so if there's $1 million volume on Terra and ETH and 100K volume on BSC, well, Terra and ETH will start decreasing faster. It will eventually all balance out because people will be doing arbitrage and stuff like that. But you will get the 1% auto burn on every chain, not just on BSC.
Well, thank you, sir, for your answers.
Yeah, and if there's anything else, I don't know what other things people are asking questions about.
Yeah, let me think. I always have questions.
Oh, our old validator will be shutting down at the end of the month. By now, most people should have undelegated or redelegated. It's been over 21 days, so the wait period would be over. It won't
But if it
affect
shuts
them.
down,
If somebody forgot to do it and we shut it down, their tokens just get released. That's all.
All right.
Yeah, there's no harm. It's just they don't get no rewards on unstaked tokens. So.
Oh, look who joined us here, Julian. Everyone's so
Quiet.
quiet.
I know everybody has so many questions in the chat, but then when you do this, nobody has anything.
I mean, I think Steven for sure has a question. He's also not gonna shoot. But yeah, the point being is that anything what's gonna happen in the next few weeks, months, it's all gonna benefit the project, right? That's just the conclusion.
Yeah, ETH is not going to be months. It's going to be. We're just picking out the right time, setting up marketing, completing the version 2 of the website updates, just so everything is there and ready. Like not waiting anything. When it launches, people can use the utility. They can do it. Go to the website for the info on that chain, everything. So it's all ready.
Yeah, it would be good if it's a matter of days or weeks, it would be good to already start shouting that out, on socials.
Well, it would be days or weeks to when we announce, and then from there it will have a scheduled time frame like pre-sale, launch, and so on.
Okay, it will be pre-sale, right?
Yeah, to provide liquidity.
Oh, okay. So the liquidity is going to come from the pre-sale partially.
Yes.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, the more liquidity, the better.
Yeah, because if you want to have the same starting price as on BSC, then and you want to provide a proper amount of tokens, you need quite a big bag of ETH as well, right?
Yeah, and it's just better to have lots of liquidity on multiple chains, and it gives the holders the ability to sell and without a high price impact. Yeah, no, so that, I don't know, there's some ideas around what we're going to do for existing holders too. I just got to talk to the team. I have some options for NFT holders and stuff like that too. But once those are decided, then they'll be announced.
Now you're definitely speaking my language.
Well, there always was the incentive that NFT holders, there would be perks. I mean, they have a chance to win some BNB back. They get stake tokens. Plus, there was always other things. So we'll see what we do with that.
We just need to wait for Chris to buy the remaining 40. Chris, when's that gonna happen?
Soon.
All right, because you'll have like 100% chance that you'll win your investment back, right, with the lottery. You're just gonna basically win in the entire lottery.
You just see my wallet posted, that's all.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have so many wallets with NFTs. I mean, no
Did
idea
you
which
get
one
any
is yours.
5 diamond ones? Or 5 moon?
I've got 5 moons. I have 0 diamonds, so I'm very upset about that.
Oh. Well, at least the 5 moon ones give you something back. We still have our 4th round NFTs coming up for Exodus yet. And that will be the last of the Lunatic branded NFTs.
You did have Terra NFTs planned though, right?
Well, we're not sure about a standalone Terra one. We might do a small collection closer to the metaverse being running, and that they will actually be able to integrate into there. Maybe as user profile avatars or discounts on buying items in the metaverse, stuff like that. They will have benefit, But we want to first, before we do the Terra NFTs, we want to kind of play it out to see closer to when the public release of the metaverse is, so we can incorporate some benefits for the NFTs. I think having reduced like a percentage off any costs inside the game would be beneficial. Would kind of be an exclusive thing.
I like that idea. Yeah.
Plus, there would be staking as well, since our whole community is just obsessed with that shit.
It's
That's
not
right.
shit, man.
Well, that's why you guys like, you know, this going standalone tokens on each of these chains, but having them bridge so you can transfer your tokens back and forth, I feel is the best solution for the project, because we have a lot of focus on passive income. I'm big on passive income. I love passive income. I like Luna Classic staking as well. And a lot of our utilities will involve that kind of thing. And the more tokens we have available to use from, we're able to do it. If we didn't do standalone tokens and we just did wrap tokens on both other chains, if it were possible, we wouldn't be able to have staking for those chains without the project itself buying all the tokens on the BSC side and sending them over, which we couldn't afford. I mean, how are you going to buy 10, 20 billion tokens? It costs too much money. So by doing this, we can give those opportunities to each chain.
Just another thing which I would like to bring up, because you said that Terra chain might still take months, right? Because it depends also on the Terra devs, right?
Not for us to go on there, but it could take that long before they fix the stuff where we can build a proper bridge and so on. And that's why we're going to use the exchange bridging option for Terra.
Right. And do you know what about the fees on LBank, how they are? Because I've never used LBank.
I thought somebody told me the withdrawal fee one time was 45K.
Yeah, it was 46,000.
And how many? Is it dependent on how many tokens you transfer, or is it just straight 46,000?
I've only done 2 transfers. It was 46 both times, different amounts that I had transferred.
Oh, okay, then it probably is a set amount. So that's going to be dependent on price of our token. So if our market cap was 30 million, it would probably be 4,000 tokens. So they'll base it on that's their fee. That's nothing to do with us. We do not have a wallet-to-wallet transfer fee or none of that. That is just an exchange fee. And, you know, to be honest, bridging fees would probably be around the same thing anyways. Like if you bridge through Wormhole, you pay a fee as well. And I don't
but
see
46K is what? It's like $1 or just over $1, right?
Yeah, so
okay.
$1. Yeah, and it's probably going to stay like that. I think they go by dollar value. So if like let's just say our market cap is 10 times the value it is now, it would decrease to 4,000 lunatics, you know, still equaling $1, but no, $1 transfer fees, that's nothing really.
No.
Cheaper than gas fees on ETH.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah. And LBank is pretty good, pretty quick. It's not like some exchanges take freaking days.
Yeah, because they do, well, I mean, probably most exchanges, they do a manual verification, right?
That, or they don't have as much liquidity and stuff like that, so they're juggling things around. No, so that way people can stake tokens they buy. It's also gives people another opportunity to buy in at a reduced price, but once it's pumped up, then or we do it ourselves, whatever, we will bridge the tokens together and then let arbitrage trading take over. And there's always people out there for that are looking for daytime money, so they see it's at 5 million on BSC and it's at 10 million on ETH. Well, we should never be that far apart, but then they'll send their BSC over, sell there, and then buy back on BSC. It just creates volume around. It's usually, most of the time, most tokens end up being about 10 to 15% price difference. It just doesn't pay to arbitrage when it's like around 10%. So it kind of sits at that. Can go one day be 10% higher, 10% lower than the other chain. It will just fluctuate like that.
Yeah, but I mean, in the end, you know, in the long term, the most volume is anyway going to come from a centralized exchange, right? And that's where market making can be used.
Yeah.
I mean, chains are always like the decentralized chains are kind of like the temporary kind of thing. I mean, it will always be on there, but you know, in the end, the big money is being made on the sex business, right? CEX.
Yeah, we like, and that's the thing. Exchanges have the most volume, but they bring you the project always the least amount of money. But they bring exposure, so they can bring new people and stuff like that. But yeah, we have market making too on LBank in that, and when people start to see volatility on the different chains, then a lot of time people are buying on the exchange and sending to that chain to sell or whatever. Or if that chain is really cheap, they buy there, they send it through to the next chain. But I don't bother that stuff. I just would rather stake and forget it. But there's people that do that for daytime living, so it's beneficial too. We need that volume.
Hey guys, I just joined a bit late, but I left to ask a question. I'm sure it probably already got covered.
Go ahead.
I know that you said you're doing individual tokens instead of doing the wrap version. So if we don't mess around with any of the CEXs and do everything on just decentralized side, what happens is there a way to do like a
That was that was random.
That
I
was a
think I
weird
missed.
I'll back you.
Metadog is watching his favorite series, I guess.
Yeah, I missed the last part of his question there.
I think he Bluetooth, but that is strange as shit. Can you turn that back on? I want to hear that.
Yeah, what was Metadoc? What was the last part of your question? You said if you don't use
I think he
exchanges,
left.
just decentralize. Oh,
He left. Yeah, he's back now without that tune, maybe.
Oh yeah, I'm back now. Sorry, I couldn't hear anything. Did you guys hear my question before?
I didn't
We
hear
heard.
the last part about if you
Okay.
just used decentralized exchange.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if we want to do like an arbitrage type of thing, right? Or maybe take, if there's a higher volume on the east side, to take some of our Lunit over there for the rewards. Do we have to do that through the CX only, or can we do it through a DEX, like a portal bridge?
Okay, for the ETH and BSC, after launch and it's stabilized on ETH, like because you cannot have a bridge instantly, it would just drain off the BSC liquidity. So we will have a DEX bridge option, like either through Everbridge or multi-chain. They support tokenomics, and I don't know if you've used EverSwap before, but if we go with them, you would just choose there, like swap your Lunatics BSC for Lunatics ETH, and it would do it for you. We will bring a DEX bridging option for sure for the EVM chains because those are available and they work. For Terra side will be later date until there's actually a solution. Right now we don't have a DEX bridge that would work with our tokens. So for Terra, you would have to do it through exchange.
Okay, good to know. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I don't like using exchanges either. So I definitely want a DEX bridge.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just not set time frame, but within probably 2 weeks of the ETH launch, the DEX bridge would be functioning. It's just enough time to settle, get the JITs out of the ETH side, and the volatility a little bit less, so where we can maintain the same market caps as BSC and then open a bridge.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Now, you did say once the ETH launches, there'll be staking available, right?
Yep, for sure. So somebody was asking but that we'd have staking on launch, and yeah, the utilities will be ready. I don't know if you know about BSC and ETH. They're both Solidity contracts on like the ERC20 system. So the contracts are actually the same. They're just on different chains. Are pretty close to the same. You do some optimizations for ETH. So it's the DApp and everything is ready to go. It's just launching the staking on the ETH side. And that doesn't take very long, a couple of minutes.
Are you guys also busy? I don't know if you know that, Johnny. With any more exchange listings, or not really at the moment?
Oh, we've inquired. We have options. It's just not number one priority because exchanges don't necessarily bring a whole lot. They just give you your current user base more options, and they may bring a few more holders onto the DEX, but exchange volume doesn't actually benefit us in our stage right now unless we can get on a top 5,
Right.
and a top 5 is quite pricey.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
we do have options.
I've been in contact with many exchanges, and these guys are taking a lot of money, man.
Oh, they are. They're
All of them,
outrageous.
not the top 50 even, like 40K. I mean, all right, it's crazy because on top of that, they also take trading fees, right, from your token, and it's crazy how much money they want nowadays.
Well, the top 25, even like towards the bottom of that 25, will want $30,000 plus uh, the same amount of value in tokens, and then sometimes they want you to pay for promotional stuff to launch. Like, it's ridiculous how much they charge, and there's no benefit. Like, to go on some bottom 25 exchange isn't worth it.
No, I mean, if you're probably gonna go on those larger, like you're saying, top 5, then eventually those smaller exchanges might even want to buy the token of DEX, right, to be able to list it.
That's the key. If you go and buy all the small little ones now, it's pointless. It doesn't help you nothing. But if you wait till you're ready and go on a top 5 or even one of the top 10 that are a big deal, you start having that trading volume, that natural trading volume. These little guys like Bitmart and all them come to you and want to just go on, list you. They buy the tokens and they list it themselves.
Exactly. Well, how does that work? Do they actually need your approval to list you, or they can just buy your token and trade them on their exchange whenever they want?
No, they need your approval to
They need
list
approval.
you. Yeah. Well, I guess maybe they don't actually, because like SHIB doesn't have an owner, but it's listed at many places. Stuff like that. Maybe they don't. If they buy their own token, they can do what they want with it.
Yeah, I don't
But
think they
some
need approval. I think they
no,
just go ahead and buy it and then use it as their liquidity
yeah,
or
I
whatever.
think so too. But I think a lot of times they'll approach you and say, "Okay, we'd like to list you for free. Provide us with enough tokens to trade." And see, those are nice options too, where we don't have to pay that 30, 50 grand, and just supply them with some tokens and they will list us. So those are other options. Um, Otherwise, like, even stuff like MEXC and some of the ones around that range, and they're only like top 10 or whatever, they're 80K. And there's some of them I looked at were 125. It's not cheap.
No, that's why you should just save up for Binance.
Yeah. And the thing is, listing on them, let's say we pay $100,000 to list on an exchange, a bigger one. We get nothing back. Like, we don't make no money, zero. So your benefit, you're hoping the trade volume grows and more people see your token. Then people come onto your DEX because they want to use your utilities. So it's best to wait for a big exchange until you've built your utility ecosystem on the DEX. Because if there's no reason for them to use your token in utilities or on the DEX, they're only going to trade on the exchange. They're never going to come onto the DEX. And on the DEX is where we make money. So like, let's say when Exodus is ready for the metaverse to go live, and now we have that's a big deal. Like, gaming industry is huge. And then we get listed on a big exchange and they can buy their tokens, send them to Terra Chain and use them on the metaverse. That will drive volume. So those are more practical ways to do it. So does anyone have any questions?
So quiet. My God.
Yeah. Well, I think I've answered most of the questions. I don't know if somebody recorded it or not. Doesn't matter.
I'm curious. It's a pity that that 17 dog didn't join, because I have a burning question for him.
But he probably won't answer
I know, but I still have to ask.
you. Yeah,
With
you can let
PSA.
me know the answer too, because I don't know what the heck he's talking about. But I haven't been looking in the chat much lately, so
Yeah, that's the point. He does look, but he just doesn't answer. He's just sending funny, emojis and stuff.
yeah, I'm not even gonna guess at what that is. There's so much stuff going on; it could be anything.
I mean, it would be good to maybe still promote the NFTs a bit, like the PSC ones.
Yeah, they're what I was talking about. Perks from we've always said there's supposed to be perks from the NFTs. When that gets announced, the people that have them will be happy, and people that don't will want one. But I'll wait till I announce that. Maybe some new users will want it too.
Yeah, maybe we could do like early access to PSA or something like that. Maybe then people will buy.
That's right.
Steven, did you hear that? Early access to PSA. You have to buy those NFTs, man. The more you buy, the earlier you'll know.
And Chris will know everything before any of you guys.
Right? Fucking order for
Say my name, please.
order for.
Well, here, I have a question for all of you guys. What kind of utilities do you want in a project?
I think it would be dope if Lunatics could be actually used as a form of payment, in a way that there's many websites that offer. I mean, it's only gift cards, right? It's not like, well, you can buy everything with it, but it would be cool if you're on one of those big websites, where you can basically buy gift cards using Lunatics Token.
I have been working on that too because I believe that's the way to go as well. But not so much one of those that you buy gift cards, but more so creating a wallet. And then the wallet, you can get a Binance card, but you would get a Lunatics Visa MasterCard, and then you would transfer your crypto onto that and use it like a credit card.
But that's a big and expensive project.
I'll just tell you now, I'm buying if that happens.
It's not as bad as you think because we wouldn't build it completely ground up ourselves. It would be just more like a Lunatics branded wallet, which the underlying licensing and all that is done by a large corporation, probably one of these sites you're talking about, but they manage the security side of it, the KYC, stuff like that. It's how a lot of projects do it instead of building their own from scratch and hosting everything and getting all the licensing across the world
Yeah,
for it.
it's like if you need to get a Visa card, you need licensing. So that's why you're saying that those companies also arrange, right?
Yeah, they arrange everything. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to get your own personal, you're just basically branded, right? Custom card kind of thing.
That's cool. That would be great.
But it would, our, how you do it though is we set up that our token can be used for this, right? So you can send Lunatics to your card, like your Crypto.com card or Binance card, whatever, and you can spend it.
So on the background, it basically just automatically sells, right? And then
Yeah.
you just pay with it. And
Yeah, I looked at that off. That is something actually I would really like to put out in the future. And I think I don't really care about the wallet side of thing. There's so many wallets. There's Trust Wallet, there's MetaMask, there's blah blah blah. And that's another idea. If we would ever go to this wallet card idea, I wouldn't build one from ground up because there's too much competition for the cost. So why not use a branded wallet based on one of those systems?
what is the price ticket for such a project?
I haven't worked out all those details. It's not exactly cheap, but it's beneficial. I think it's gives it one of the most practical use cases in the world. You
Sure.
can actually spend the money.
Exactly.
But
And
then,
that's what the entire crypto market is waiting for, right? As well. I mean,
and
Binance already offers it in a way, but it's still pretty new.
yeah, Crypto.com offers it. Binance offers it, but they are very limited what currencies you can. They only take the main top 10 kind of thing, right? Our we would allow obviously the top 10, be Bitcoin, ETH, BNB, BUSD, whatever could be used on your card as well, but also our token because this is specific to us. This would be the only card you could use our token.
Why not go for entire like, I mean, with due diligence and everything, BSC network, for example?
Well, we could have it open-ended where other projects could approach us
Exactly.
and pay, but then they would be vetted and so on, and they would require, there's requirements, right? Having X amount of liquidity in their liquidity pools locked. We'd have to vet their team token, everything. And there's requirement anytime the liquidity drops below a certain point, they get delisted because it would protect us. Otherwise, we would be left with worthless tokens.
Yeah, because it needs to be sent to a specific contract.
That's right. So yeah, I would definitely have that open-ended, like that other projects could approach us and partner with our wallet and card system if they didn't want to go their own route, and that's fine. Um, the other option too, though, is in that wallet, I would like to have a fiat on-ramp. Like, so you want to buy some BNB, you buy it directly in the wallet. You want to buy Lunatics, you could buy Lunatics directly in the wallet. Everything is done. My visions are, and this is just my talking, we have not narrowed down everything we want to do, but I like an all-in-one shop. So Lunatics wallet, Lunatics card, Lunatics DEX, like a Luniswap or whatever, Launchpad, all that stuff. I would like it that people only need to come to our website, our token, and they can do what they need in crypto. They can buy what they need, not just our coin, but they buy any coin they want. They can use it for all their wallet needs, all that stuff. Lending and borrowing against crypto. I'd like to do that like a banking system. So those are my ideas, but I asked you guys what you guys would think.
I mean, I think it would be cool to have some type of platform where the community could like kind of come together and play mini games, for example, against one another, right? Like the most simple games you could think of. I mean, chess, whatever, and maybe even in a way that you can just put like a tiny amount of lunatics, kind of as a bet, that you play against someone, and kind of making it more fun and competitive, right? Just so the community can hang out at a place and play some games. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, the gaming, like I know we have the metaverse partnership, and that's going to be a big gaming side of Lunatics. But we were discussing with someone about a 3D NFT game that's standalone outside of the metaverse that people like, kind of what you'd call like a miniverse where you're running around. But yeah, I guess, little mini game setup. As long as it has a use case for the token itself, that's more so where we're directed to use up the token.
Yeah, I mean, in a way that you can exactly, have a poker table. You could sit down with 6 people. You just have to buy in, I don't know, 100K of Lunati, right? You sit down and you just play poker or something.
Yeah.
Like 17 Dog has just joined. Curious if
So
he has some news for us.
So what utility do you use in crypto the most?
I mean, the only thing I do is looking at my wallet, really. I don't use so much.
Yeah. So your wallet is the most used utility you have in crypto.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, yeah, wallet would be number one. Charts for sure in there. And swap, like cross-chain swapping. Swapping my tokens from smart chain to ETH to Bitcoin, whatever. Those would be the number three, the top three.
Yeah, or something like build more something like not directly for our community, but something which could actually generate revenue for Lunatics as a project, right? You could think of an amazing multi-chain DEX, for example. I know a DEX is very hard to develop, especially because of security, right? But
it's not just that; it's that part. There are some very skilled people in the world that you can contract for that part of it, the security and the underlying. But it's not just that. Everswap has a nice multi-chain DEX. That's what they are. You can go and swap your BNB ETH to whatever chain you want, but it's the amount of money it takes to provide all the liquidity. It's insane. Like they only did that after they blew up as a token, where they had millions of dollars and outside investors. But the liquidity is crazy. Yeah, you can get people to provide liquidity too, and I'm sure they have lots of that too. But the initial startup liquidity is just insane. That's the only reason why I always shy away from. If no one had ever done one, they were one of the first to actually do it. So that's beneficial. But if there was no other such thing as a cross-chain DEX, then I would say, yeah, of course we do it. We're the only one. You will benefit. But because there's actually quite a few out there already, it is hard to tap into that and actually gain your money back.
yeah, but I mean not just the DEX. I mean a place where basically projects are able to also just easily set up a staking pool. They're easily able to set up a small NFT marketplace. They're able to set up a community inside the DEX. They're able to provide P2E games inside the DEX, like really a community DEX, that basically an entire project can kind of live off one decentralized exchange. They don't have to have developers, for staking contracts. They can just have a simple way saying that, we create a staking pool inside the DEX, right? And more like that. I mean, the DEX in multi-chain, I know they exist, but, you add more layers on top and make it special. That's also why Panckaceswap is so popular, right? It's not just the swapping. It's also, they have all those kind of, I don't know, games and stuff on top of it, NFTs, these pools and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, they're swap, and the only thing is they don't provide like staking like we did, custom staking. I don't know how easy that would be to implement. You couldn't implement it automatically. You would have to, the project would have to interact with somebody running the DEX, and then they build it and set it up.
Yeah, for sure.
But
But I
the
mean,
LP pools
that's what you
are
can take
automatic.
fees on, right? And then you have revenue. building, being able to, for a small project, right, which doesn't have a developer, which normally would have to pay thousands of dollars for a developer to do it. For them, it would make so much more sense to be able to do it, on a DEX directly for much less money, but with a very proper and easy interface.
Mm-hmm.
Just sharing my thoughts. But I mean, look at Baby Dog Swap, and look at what else do you have there? Like, that's all just a copy of Uniswap, right? It's exactly the same. There is no difference. Even the layout is entirely the same.
Yeah, I don't know if they have their own liquidity pools or if they're using Uniswap or PancakeSwap pools. I haven't
No,
looked,
they
but
they are not. They are not routed through Panckaceswap. They have a separate liquidity pool, but it's the projects that needs to provide it, right? Just like on Panckaceswap.
okay. So what they did is they just forked the the DApp and
Exactly.
everything else, and then just created their own. See, I wouldn't mind doing a swap for Lunatics in the short term as just a fork of PancakeSwap and Uniswap and customized graphics, but still routing through their pools, so don't have to provide that initial liquidity. Just so it's our own custom swap. I mean, you can make changes to it too, but and then eventually adding our own router and swap to it, our liquidity pools.
Hmm.
It's
I
cheaper
mean,
that way.
of
Otherwise,
course.
for us to migrate our pools to our own router, and that's right now we have 300 and some $1,000 in liquidity. We'd have to cover or migrate. And that's just our project. As well, other projects would supply their own, but
I mean, it would be nice to have something which you could even provide short term, like a very nice back in the time kind of P2E or P2 burn, game like JavaScript, simple but a nice game like arcade in the Lunatics team, of course.
well, I could do that. I could post a wallet in the chat, and everyone send tokens to it, and we call it play to burn.
Nah, you guys have some funds to burn for sure somewhere. I mean, you don't have to burn the entire supply, right?
No, not our supply. I'm not overly eager speeding up that burn. That's just gonna hurt us in the end. Uh, it will burn fast enough. Our price is still very cheap. We're not like $30 billion project where it takes a lot of dollars to burn. Because even Binance, you know how their goal is to burn it down to what, 100 or 1,000 BNB. Realistically, I'm going to be dead before that happens, because as the price inflates of the BNB, it will burn less and less and less actual BNB tokens. It's just how it works, and they're already at such a high market cap. It will take a long time.
Yeah, so you could do it differently. It doesn't have to be a direct play to burn or play to earn, but it can be like a competitive game where once a week or once a month, just the highest scorers, they get some BNB or whatever, right? Something nice just to have some entertainment. And to be able to play, you just need to have at least some specific amount of Lunati in your wallet.
Yeah, that is on the roadmap, and has been discussed before. We were just caught up with this launch on Terra, and then we partnered with Exodus, which will have a game system too. But not everyone can play there because you need a decent system, right, for the metaverse. So it would be a good idea to have a standalone P2E or play to earn and burn uh, that pretty much anyone with a web browser or mobile can play.
I think it's time for someone else to say something.
I know. I'm gonna leave this open. I gotta go, but if you have any more questions, well, no, you can't ask any more questions. You gotta wait till next week. We gave everybody an hour to ask their questions, so if you got more, then save them for next week.
I see
Okay,
that
we'll see you guys
17,
later.
17 also left just before you left, so he doesn't have to answer my burning question.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yep, still have to wait.
I really think you scared everybody away, bro.
I scared everyone away.
Too much pressure on that PSA.
Too much pressure. Come on. I mean, if you say something like that, we have to buy more because, there's going to be a big announcement. You want to know why, right?
You might have the wrong guy. I don't need many reasons to buy more.
Yeah, I know. I'm not talking to you, man. You should calm down with your buying because soon they will not have any more left to actually bridge to Ethereum,
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, when are they launching ETH?
when?
Yeah.
He said it's a matter of days or weeks for announcement, and then after that it takes some time for pre-sale and marketing to happen. So I guess that's not going to be this month. So I don't know exactly when, but we have to wait for an announcement.
Okay. Oh, it's better for us. You can save money to buy more.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how Chris is going to handle the situation on Ethereum.
Order for man. How much tokens are going to be available on ETH?
I have no idea.
Okay, and are they taking from the 87 billion, or it's going to be an additional 87 billion for ETH?
I have no idea as well. I know that they're going to create a new contract, so they're not necessarily going to decrease the supply on Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.